Today in Review This Thing, we're going to review this thing, the Wyze Cam Outdoor. Wyze started out as a company that wanted to make security cameras for in and around the home for a reasonable price. As a matter of fact, you can buy their original camera, the updated version, on Amazon right now as a 2-pack for $51. Just a few months ago, they released the outdoor version, and so we've been using it for, I think, about 9 months now. And so because of that, we wanted to tell you how they work. Before we do that though, please do us a big favor and click that subscribe button right down there. Also click that notification bell. Comment if you have a Wyze Cam Outdoor. Comment if you have other Wyze products. Ask questions. Give us a thumbs up. All that stuff is awesome. We really appreciate it. And it just helps us with YouTube, getting our videos to the front of the line. We want as many people as possible to get to see our videos because we really like what we do. Now that we've covered all that stuff, let's go ahead and review the Wyze Cam Outdoor. As always, on Review This Thing, we cover the facts. The first part is fit. So the first part of fit that I want to talk about is, will the camera fit where you want to use it? The difference between this camera and their other cameras is that it is battery powered, so you don't have to be near an outlet. You don't have to have a big cord so you can plug it in. It does have a Wi-Fi base station that has to be plugged in that it connects to, but as long as you are within range of that, it's going to get service. We actually put our base station in our kitchen window, and one day to test it out, I put this camera right out there on top of that target, which is about 100 feet away from the window, and it picked up signal perfectly. So you basically, depending on your internet and your home, will just want to test how far away you can get it. But like I said, we got it at least 100 feet away and had perfect signal. You can also see the size of the camera is very small. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It extends from this little base. It has these 2 little screw holes so that you can mount it. I've tried it several different places out and around the house, and so far I haven't had any trouble getting it to fit anywhere really. Because of all of that, I'm gonna have to say with fit, we're gonna give it a 5 out of 5. Now, is the Wyze Cam Outdoor as advertised? One of the big things they say is that it stands up to any weather. We've had it outside the whole time we've had it, and I've actually had it out near an outbuilding, and it has gotten rain and really hot, really cold, and so far it's held up extremely well. The Wyze Cam Outdoor is also advertised to go where wires can't. We talked about that in the fit section. The battery life is also pretty good. We've had it 9-ish months, and I think I've charged it maybe 3 or 4 times. Probably 3 times. If you're in an area that has constant activity, I'm sure that it's going to run out of battery faster than just occasional activity, but so far so good with the battery life. They also claim to have full 1080p night vision within 25 feet. I would say the night vision is definitely clear enough to see up to that 25 feet. I would also say that the clarity is maybe like somebody's face or something like that isn't exceptional. It could definitely be better. And keep in mind the night vision is not color, so you're going to get that kind of black-white, infrared lit up type of picture. The good thing about that is it doesn't have a light that projects, so maybe it's not going to alert a person or an animal that it's actually recording. The only downside is that because it doesn't have a light, then it is not going to be color. So it's going to be a little less clear than maybe some of the other cameras that do have the color option. The Wyze Cam Outdoor works on what they call PIR, which stands for passive infrared detection, which I don't completely understand, but basically they say it works more on body heat than just on motion, which is supposed to decrease false alerts. I would say it definitely seems to do a pretty good job of that, of having fewer false alerts. The only thing is I've still had some alerts of vehicles passing by that are, probably 75 yards away from the camera, and I'm not really sure how that has to do with body heat, but initially when we got the camera, I felt like it was missing a lot of activity. I didn't know if it was just the settings I had it on or the position it was in, but I tried all sorts of different stuff and definitely felt like it wasn't getting everything. They've had several firmware updates since we got it, and I think that's made a huge difference because it definitely seems to be doing a better job of not missing things. Is it as advertised? We're going to give it a 5 out of 5. Now on to construction and durability. As I mentioned, these have only been around for about 9-10 months, so we can't really speak well to long-term durability, but so far over those months it's done great. One area of construction that I'm not super thrilled with is that in order to charge the camera, you have to take the whole camera down and plug it in. There isn't a removable battery. So if you have it in a place that may be difficult to get to, it may be a little bit harder to get the whole camera down, but they do have it designed so you can set it and relax it down on the screws. So it should be able to just pull it up and move it. But ideally, it'd be great to be able to leave it up and just remove the battery. Another construction issue they used to have, which they don't anymore, is that the base station used to have to be plugged in directly to your Ethernet, which limited where you could put the camera based on how far it would reach. Now they fixed that, and so you have to set up the base station directly plugging it into Ethernet, but then you can switch it to Wi-Fi mode. Quick addendum on the wireless portion. Apparently, a few weeks ago, whenever I was filming this, there was a firmware update that happened that kind of messed up the whole being able to unplug it from the internet thing. Mine quit working completely. I spent quite a while on customer service with Wyze, which I'm going to put their phone number here because I had to go looking for it. I couldn't find it on their website. They were great. They sent me a new one. I plugged it in. It acted like it was going to work. Then I did the firmware update, and now it won't stay connected to the internet when it's not plugged into the Ethernet cable. So I'm not sure. Hopefully they'll come up with a firmware update that'll fix that problem, but just for now you have to keep it plugged in to the cord, so you can't leave it somewhere far away from the router that you have. One thing that is nice about construction is the movable arm. So you aren't limited to just where you can sit it flat. The only thing that is kind of a drawback for me is I was trying to just sit it various places, and if you extend it all the way and try to point it down, then obviously this is heavier than this. So unless you screw it down, it's gonna tip over. I set it on our porch so I could catch some of the ducks that come up and eat, and had to just sit a weight on it. Obviously I could mount it to the rail, but I wanted to try it in a few different places. Another nice thing about the design that they've also changed recently is that you can set detection zones. So if there's a busy area of your picture that you don't want to just constantly alert you, you can block that out. I did that when I had it facing toward my house, toward the road, and it seemed like it still caught larger vehicles going down the road, but I think it was probably fewer than it was before. I'm not 100% convinced that that detection zone actually works the way that I wanted it to, but just be aware that that's an option. Another thing to think about with construction is about storing the videos. It comes with 14 days of free cloud storage, but if you want to keep your videos longer, then you're going to need to save them to your phone. The camera does have a slot for a micro SD card, but as far as I can tell, that really only benefits you greatly if you're in travel mode. So if you're camping or you're out somewhere where you're not going to have internet, you can still watch and see what's going on. Another thing when talking about construction I want to discuss is that Wyze has something called Cam Plus, and that costs $15 per year per camera, and it just adds some features to the camera. One is that you can determine how long the video you want to record. The free version, you can only record up to 12 seconds. There's a 5-minute cooldown. So let's say it's triggered, it records a 12-second video, and then it's going to wait 5 minutes before it records again. So a lot of activity can happen in that 5-minute time period that you're going to miss. Where with Cam Plus, you can set it to have no cooldown period or whatever cooldown period you want it to have. With Cam Plus, you can also specify what type of motion alerts you want. So just general motion or people, packages, vehicles, I believe. You can specify to alert you when certain things happen. It works pretty good overall, but it has alerted me to people when it's been, I think one time it was some doves eating some birdseed, and then my cat gets called a person semi-frequently. So it is better than just alerting you every time it moves, but just know that it's not perfect just yet. In a perfect world, all of this stuff would be included as part of the deal. You wouldn't have to pay extra for it, but I do understand that it costs them money to provide those services, and the cameras themselves are fairly inexpensive, so it helps balance everything out there. So how does it do overall? After 8-9 months, I think it has held up very well. I mentioned a few things that I'm not particularly fond of that I think could be better in terms of the construction and design, but none of those are huge deal breakers. I am going to take a few points off for them, but overall I'm going to give construction and durability a 4 out of 5. Now on to testimonials and reviews. Overall, great scores. People have good things to say, but as always, we like to tell you the 1s and 2s, kind of what were the biggest drawbacks people had to say. Several of these things we've talked about. One is that the SD card doesn't record constantly. A couple people said the battery drained in one day. As I mentioned, we've been able to keep ours going for at least a few weeks at a time before we have to charge it, so I'm not sure what happened there with them. Some people don't like that you have to take the whole thing down, like we talked about, to charge it. And then a couple things they've rectified now, so about having to keep the base station plugged in, that's fixed, and then also about not being able to set a detection zone, which has also been fixed. And then of course people also don't really like the fact that they have to pay more to be able to get longer than 12-second videos or not have a 5-minute cooldown period. Overall, it gets great scores. As always, we're going to share with you the score that we found. So for testimonials and reviews, we're going to give it a 4.1 out of 5. Okay. Now for the question that you've been wondering, the whole reason you watched all of this video is, should I buy this thing? The Wyze Cam Outdoor comes on Amazon as a starter bundle, which includes the camera and a Wi-Fi base station for $59. Each base station can serve up to 4 cameras, and you can buy additional cameras on Amazon as well for $47 a piece. So average about $50 per camera. If you're looking for crystal clear night pictures or even color nighttime pictures, then this is not the camera for you. If you are in need of a camera just to monitor, to see what's going on, so you have an idea, maybe if you've had an animal coming around or even a person maybe trespassing, then this is a great option for you. At nighttime, faces aren't super clear, and even during the day, if they aren't very close, then you could probably identify just based on other features, but you're not going to get super clear facial recognition. As always, it depends on what you're looking for. There are several options out there for security cameras. If you're looking for really high quality video that you can see crystal clear, then you're probably going to have to pay quite a bit more money to get that with some other cameras. But as I mentioned, if you're just looking for a camera that's going to serve the purpose of helping you monitor your home or your business when you're not there and see what's going on without having to spend a ton of money to do so, then these things are great. Like I said, it's $59 for the starter bundle. If you're questioning whether it's a good buy or not, then spend the $60, buy one, put it at your house for a couple weeks, and then if you don't like it, then return it to Amazon and get your money back. So, should you buy this thing? Absolutely, why not? Let's go ahead and give it a 5 out of 5. Thanks for watching our video. And while you're here, make sure you do subscribe and click that notification bell. Also, watch several of our other videos while you're here. Share them if you like them. Give us a thumbs up. Comment below, ask questions, do all that great stuff. Also, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and as always, thanks for watching.